Cyclone MMA. This is not the MMA news I expected to hear today. This is not the fight news I expected to hear today. But Nate Diaz versus Khamzat Chimaev is likely going to happen at UFC 276 on July 2nd. Now, Dana White was on this show called Pivot or something like that. I'm reading this from MMA Island, so it's, a reputable source. Check out MMA Island on Instagram. Dana White was on a show, and in the background you could see different matches being made. And one of those matches was for that 276 card, and it was the co-main event. And it was Nate Diaz versus Khamzat Chimaev. So if both guys sign, it looks like that's the UFC's plan, and it seems likely, it makes sense, but I don't think anyone was expecting to see this fight. So let's break this down a little more. Nate Diaz, he's on his last fight of his contract. He wants out of the UFC. I think they would have to give him an ungodly amount of money to keep him in the UFC. But he wants to go out there and smack up Jake Paul or do his own thing. The Diaz boys don't even like the UFC, so it makes sense. I thought they'd do Dustin Poirier for Nate Diaz. I thought they'd do a Conor McGregor trilogy fight. But they're going a different route. They're going Khamzat Chimaev. And looking at it now, it kind of makes sense because the UFC has a history of, fighters on their last contract, and they don't want to give them easy fights. They want to give them killers, and then they want to send them on their way so they have less value. That way they don't go to Bellator and become a crazy star there. So, Nate Diaz, superstar. Khamzat Chimaev, incoming superstar. You could probably call him a superstar at this point after his rise in the UFC to his defeat of Gilbert Burns. He's going to steal all of Nate Diaz's hype if he gets a W. And I think if you were to look at the betting odds, if he's a plus, what was he? He was like a minus 300, maybe even minus 500 favorite over Gilbert Burns. Imagine what he's going to be over Nate Diaz. He is going to be a heavy favorite to win this fight. And if he does, he's going to steal all of Nate Diaz's hype, and he's going to be a huge, even bigger star than he already is. It makes sense for the UFC. I feel like they're trying to set up Nate Diaz with a fight that they think he will lose, send him out of the UFC at the lowest value that he can be at, and then, just profit off of Khamzat Chimaev. And on top of what I just said, this thing's going to generate a lot of pay-per-view buys. You have Izzy, who's kind of that mid-tier seller. He sells a lot of pay-per-views, but he's not to the Nate Diaz level. Nate Diaz is a perfect co-main event to just up those numbers along with Khamzat Chimaev. It really makes sense when you think about it. It's kind of bad to Nate Diaz because I think we all know. I think we all can agree. I'm not trying to slight the dude. I'm not trying to disrespect Nate Diaz. I have a lot of respect for him as an athlete. But Khamzat Chimaev is probably going to win this fight if they make it, but it makes sense for the UFC. I don't know if it makes sense in terms of the rankings and everything, but whatever. If Nate Diaz signs it, he's a gangster. Khamzat Chimaev is going to sign it. He'll sign. If you gave Khamzat Chimaev a contract to fight Godzilla, he'd be like, sure, I'd smash that guy. So what do you guys think of this fight? Khamzat Chimaev versus Nate Diaz. Let me know in the comment section below. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and we're going to have so much more MMA content coming your way, people. Looking forward to it. Peace. Amanda Nunes versus Megan Anderson. Amanda. Duh. Next we got Artem Lobov. We're going to stick him right up at S tier. Just kidding.